going to explain really clearly what you need to do for this assessment and where you can find all the information if you are one of those people that don't like to read, but you'd rather see it in a video. So remember, this is 6 credits. We've been studying attraction and you need to explain it using 3 approaches. Now bear in mind, everything you need is in Schoolbox. So if you go to your Schoolbox homepage, go to the class page, we are studying love and attraction, click there. Okay, this is the textbook, the Google Slides, and down here is the task sheet, which has all the instructions that you need and the links to the various exemplars and examples here. So everything I'm going to explain in this video is already on Schoolbox for you. Now remember, there are 2 parts to the assessment. To achieve these 6 credits, you're going to be given an unseen case study of 2 people who have fallen in love, and you're going to explain using your knowledge of psychology why they might have fallen in love, why they might have been attracted to each other. There'll be questions on the 3 approaches, and there's one last question on explaining the differences. So it looks something like, well, like your practice test on Brangelina, although I'll probably give you more details than this to make it easier. Okay, and then evolutionary approach, you just briefly tell me what is the evolutionary approach and explain why this couple might have got together. If you, imagine you're an evolutionary psychologist, you're explaining why they might have got together. Then you put on your biological psychology hat and explain, well, are there biological factors that could explain why they got together? And then you do the same for the socio-cultural approach. And one last question where you have to contrast the different approaches. All right, so you're going to be given something like this. The only difference will be that the case study will be one you haven't seen before. Now for your research component, again, this is linked on Schoolbox. There's a template that you can use, or you can choose to have a more generic one. You're going to find a famous couple and explain why they fell in love, but you're finding psychological studies, right, from credible sources to support your explanations. Then you evaluate, which just means give me one limitation for each of your explanations or the evidence, and decide which one has the best answer. And you can see the exemplar I wrote on Derek Bell here. Okay, here's my biological approach explanation and my supporting study. The really important thing with this is that you are linking, you've got your in-text citations using APA formatting, so you've got the author's last name and the year, and you're hyperlinking to that source so I can fact check it. I'll make another video talking about limitations, but the limitations are of, you need to evaluate. So what's the limitation of this explanation or this study? Not a generic limitation, because you can just Google that and it doesn't really show that you can think critically about explanations in psychology. Okay, and then you'll have a reference list like this. Okay, so that's your exemplar, and this is your template that you can use to complete that. All right. Okay, so they're on Schoolbox. That's what you need to do. Right, we're explaining attraction using 3 approaches, and I think there it's pretty straightforward. In my next video, I'll show you the difference between passing answers and failing answers.